Well, happy Monday. It is June 22nd, 2020, Journal 359, T plus 448. Um, it was interesting that as I wrote about in the written blog that accompanies this on misfirebook.com, uh, I was kidding around with some friends of ours and happened to mention that that my desk was insanely chaotic, to the point that I actually took a picture and sent it to them. And their response was hysterical because, at least I thought so. They turned around and said, "Isn't that cute? He thinks that's messy," inferring, of course, that their workspaces may have been a little bit messier than mine. Um, and quite possibly that's the truth. Perhaps it was. Interestingly enough, it got me to thinking about two words that have become buzzwords in our current lexicon. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic aftermath that we're all dealing with, and those are pivot and reinvention. Having to reinvent yourself in order to find some other way of supporting yourself, or pivoting from one endeavor to another. And those are important terms, and I've written about them before in the context in which they were meant to be written about or understood. But the kind of pivot and reinvention I'm talking about here, with a picture of my desk you can find at misfirebook.com, is different. I'm very visual. I've written about that before. I've talked about it before. If I don't see it, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Consequently, I have to have it out where it's plainly visible. Otherwise, I'll forget it's there. I'll forget it's due, and that's really problematical, especially if you're neurotic and you're crazy when it comes to deadlines, and then you put yourself at risk for missing a deadline. The kind of chaos I'm talking about is a productive kind of chaos, and it results from the ability to be able to pivot from one task to another, from one undertaking to another. So the examples that I used in the written blog were, that I can go from writing about this in a blog post to changing it, modifying it, expanding it, and turning it into a column. Or, I can script a video for conversation, dialogue that we're having right now. Or I can go ahead and start working on presentation for a 45-minute, Zoom webinar that I'm planning to deliver within the next few weeks. So it allows you the opportunity to remain productive while you're working on multiple projects, rather than working on a single project and then finding yourself stymied because, for whatever reason, you're either, you're forced to wait for something, whether it's more information, whether it's guidance, whether it's instruction, or whether it's teaching yourself how to make something happen. How to be creative in an area in which you've never been creative before. So it's a different kind of productivity. It's a productive kind of chaos, and there's nothing wrong with that if you can manage it. And realistically, I've worked with a lot of people over the years that couldn't, that have to eat the peas and then eat the carrots and then eat the main course. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just, different. Different doesn't mean better or worse. It just means different. So, again, that kind of productivity, that kind of ability to pivot, to reinvent whatever it is that you're doing so that you can complete a task and then move on to something different or something, just something next, is a solid thing. It's a positive thing. in my opinion, at least. I hope you find it. I hope you find it the same. And for whatever it's worth, I do clean up that workspace from time to time. It's always better if I'm allowed to do it on my terms, because then I know where I put stuff. It's never good when Lesley insists that I do it and I'm not ready to do it and stuff gets stuffed and then I can't find it again. But the good news is when that happens, I always have somebody to blame for missing a deadline. So, and I'm saying that only because Lesley's out of the house right now, and she won't see it until it's too late. In the meantime, stay well, stay safe, stay focused, stay home, and take care.